This time we'll be reviewing a round that was sent by BFG4 in Raleigh Major 2019 Group Stage MIBR vs TSM. Most of the video will be muted. If you want to rewatch the round, the link will be posted in the description. Subtitles are available. Let's see the 6th pick. Changing Clash to Echo was done very nicely, forcing IQ or Sledge to change towards the Capitao. 2 hard breaches are required for this objective, and Zofia is usually a good pick over there. And in case they succeed with the 6th pick, Echo, Valkyrie, and Pulse, you will see later on why Pulse will be very powerful. As for the Sledge to think a change, I'm unsure about that. They swapped frags for frags. Maybe it's because of preference. When Finka is brought, you usually have Dokkaebi with SMG-12 or shield operators because of the ADS time. So, that is something that I will not agree on the 6 picking, technically speaking. Let's continue. Let's talk about the operators during the prep phase. So you want to get admin, office, and possibly skylight hatch open and default breach. And that requires you to bring thermite and a hard breacher. Additionally, you can up the wall on the left side to easier deny C4 throws and smoke babes or runouts from defenders when out of utility. IQ is very good pick against Echo and later on Pulse, and Finka brings grenades that you can use to push out server stairs. They could expect a server hold because Clash was brought, but 6 picked. Let's pause a bit. Speaking of Clash being 6 pick, Clash is the usually operator that you'll bring as a 6 pick operator. You don't want to show your opponents that you're bringing Clash unless you're playing double mind games. So if you see Clash in the reveal phase, you can assume that she's getting 6 picked. However, if you know that your opponents will think like that, and TSM did know about it, they didn't bring Capitao and Capitao is universally good, not just against Clash, then you're playing double mind games and you can pick Clash and not 6 pick her, as it is expected thing to do, but very risky. Let's continue. To push out servers, you gotta base those ADSs, and that's where Zofia or anyone with a flashbang comes out. Zofia is a great pick because once she concusses enemies, their div cannot hear anything and they can barely move around. Therefore, they will be either pushed away or naded from Finka. Defenders brought pretty much common operators, Echo, Pulse, and 2 extra C4s from the mute Valkyrie for the plant denial, and Jaeger with a shield for the server's hold. Let's check out the defense setup. Reinforcement setup is having all first floor hatches reinforced, the standard 2 CC walls reinforced, 2 red walls reinforced, and 1 wall on the west side of lockers reinforced. I didn't catch the last reinforcement, maybe they didn't use the 10th, but what I would like to see also reinforced is this wall facing Teller's drop, so if that happens you can easier deny the rush push. Echo brought 2 barbed wires below the hatch of admin, which is against the drop, and the other one is kind of interesting and already gives the way how will MIBR be defending, by the bottom of the half of the main stairs. So this means that MIBR will either have a person in the garage dedicated sound whoring these barbed wires, or have a shotgun, which Jaeger has, because he will be playing by the server stairs, in this little corner of the main stairs. If barbed wire were placed at the bottom but upper half of the main stairs, that means Jaeger or a shotgun will be more flexible and could play a bit more aggressive on the attackers. And I actually think that it will be way better because Valkyrie. Valkyrie has placed a Valkyrie camera exactly over here, which will be super useful for the shotgun player and as well as the late flanks when needed. When lost the admin control and when the attackers are about to start the plant. Regaining open an admin hatch means a no-no for a plant. The other Valkyrie camera was put in the corner of the CC, and the last camera was put in the servers. Speaking of utility, your kite drones are very flexible. One will be shut down by the main stairs bottom half, and the other one is probably around red or below the desk of CC. Ready for the plant denial, and finally, I set the mute jammer that was put by the top of the server stairs. One by the tunnel, and I have heard that mute jammer is being put somewhere in the area of garage and main stairs bottom. I assume that it was over here. There are no unusual jammers, mostly to allow your staircase players to play more aggressive due to the lack of information for attackers. Jaeger's magpies will be put by the top of the server stairs, so Jaeger can hold it as heavier as possible.
When he gets up to the staircase, he's like, no!
Action phase. We can see Zofia joining lobby. Akira rappelling on the CEO, gaining the map control as quick as possible, and defenders are not contesting it. It is very hard to contest the roam hunters. Assume that there was a pre-placed C4 or an active one watching if there is a defender on the top before IQ was rappelling in. IQ will most likely be on the top of the main stairs watching rotation, whereas in the meantime Finka is pushing her way towards the top skylight, denying the only other rotation from defenders, so if there is any defender roaming, he cannot go back unless if open hatches. Or, if everyone is at the basement, everyone will be at the basement. Very efficient roam clear from TSM. Since Gauthier is running lobby, the first staircase is on the map. Once he clears out tellers and archives, the map is free from roamers on the second and the third floor. Also, there is no need to peek like this. Since it's LAN, no one has advantage over peeking. And what can happen is that, in a perfect timing, defenders can get an angle on you, or simply run through your line of sight. It's very unlikely to happen in this position, but in any other situation, it might happen.
Give you that extra HP boost, but it does change some things too, which is why
We can see IQ engaging on the main stairs, trying to get the controller by being too aggressive. Could be very costly. Mewjamer was probably blocking her information, and she'll repeat to get the yokai drone, and that's again a very risky thing to do.
there's no recoil when an internal surge is on. Also, the thing that most people find the most annoying is that it is loud as hell. It is so loud when it is on.
No, TSM will try to clear out server stairs, starting off with the flashes, because concussion mines, as already stated, are very effective at clearing server stairs. Since you're stuck, your vision is blurred, and you are deaf. Also, Zofia played this very aggressively, could have destroyed and could cast the player from the skylight. She could actually die. Jaeger was not ready for such aggro push, but was ready for Finka. And let's stop. Jaeger was not concussed. Not at least once. In case you're saving these for the plant. That is a questionable decision. Also, Valkyrie was doing exactly what I was showing in the roaming video, playing to refrag Jaeger. And what did allow her to play like that? The hedge was still reinforced, the skylight won. At 128, they destroyed it. You will be able to hear it when the sound is on.
Ruin achieves day as he rotates back downstairs. Nobis going to take his place, try to support with a little bit of ranged fire, and it is not going to do a whole lot of damage, unfortunately. Nobis will instead take the large majority of it. He's going to end up going down.
Maverick. This is not the way how to open the hatch. However, I do like how he's aware of an angle from the defenders. Hence, he is constantly moving back, even from a C4 yeet. There are two ways of opening hatches, which you will be able to see right now.
His life away there. Stays in it for now, however. But time is getting low. They need to speed this up. They can't be haphazard with the way pushing into these sites anymore. It's interesting pattern. He's really going to open. This is getting open pattern. Screw it. I don't care about the pattern anymore. I just want to get this thing open so I can rotate and start doing some work on this other wall. They are waiting on bios to make that hole. We've seen create multiple times now when they're on the site. And as you will hopefully be able to get the entire thing this time. Last time he did with a little bit.
We are now getting ready for the execution. Let's recheck the position of the defenders and attackers, starting off with defenders. Pools, gold. Valkyrie and Mute, red. Jaeger, bottom of the main stairs. Echo, garage. Nothing much to talk about here. C4s are closer to the plant. Echo with ACOG holding garage. Yokai is out of the CCTV. No tether, so Yokai cannot be disabled for 11 seconds by EMP. Valkyrie is watching the CC camera, I assume, so that way Echo can play his role of denying garage push if happens. Mute has prepped his C4. I have explained two ways of throwing C4s in the past VOD review. Pulse is getting cold, who is in the server. Valkyrie can only hear if plant is happening. Also, the camera is very powerful because the only way to get rid of it is to push in the CC or open the second wall, which Maverick will do. Jaeger is holding main stairs. Attackers. After Maverick opened the needing hole, possible to get Volky camera to destroy C4s if needed, he will retreat back to the second floor, either watch hatches or try to contest garage. 3 attackers are in the servers.
So that would soon spell the demise of Pojo Man. So plan attempts gonna be
Final seconds. Therma tries to bait. Now, IQ with her scanner is acting as a planter. Pulse cannot detect if that is a plant or not, however, sound could determine it. This is a very good idea from IQ. She can immediately see when C4 is being thrown out, so she can then pull back as soon as possible.
quickly. I don't know if the defender's gonna have any
Pulse is playing a bit behind so he can throw C4. Concussed nades will only leave thrower. It won't stop you from throwing C4. Not sure what Zofia was trying to do. It's better off to have an actual gun in front of you to hit C4s, its LAN, rather than deafing defenders.
with him going down, everybody else.
And there goes your planter. A Maverick failed to push the garage. But either way, defenders had no issue retaking hatch in the open. If you remember, I have mentioned that it's always expected defenders to do that just prior the plant happens. And then there goes your round. What should have been done? Map control all the way towards the server stairs was good. Actually excellent. After that, it wasn't as good. First of all, the skylight hatch has to be destroyed prior pushing defenders in the server stairs. If the hatch is open and still 2 defenders on the server stairs, that means they cannot retreat back, and you will possibly have a 2-man advantage if played correctly. Some teams open up the admin hatch instead of opening skylight, as that way you're also denying defenders getting back to the site, but they still can move around servers. That was one of the blunders from TSM. I already spoke about the deployable shield. Volky camera was spotted at this point. I'm not sure why Zofia wasn't asked to destroy it. Other than that, I pretty much said everything else. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any feedback, let me know down in the comment section below. If you would like to support me, drop me a like, subscribe and click the notification bell to get all the notifications on my channel. Make sure to join my Discord server and to follow me on the Twitter.